In this video, I want to talk about different size carry-on bags, show you the difference between carry-on and personal item size packs, and then do some packing comparisons so you can see how much you can fit in each of these types of bags. I get asked a lot if a certain pack will work as a carry-on or personal item, or if it will fit under the seat on an airplane. It's hard to answer this question because whether a bag is going to count as a carry-on or a personal item is going to depend on the airline that you're traveling with. I have a table on my website that lists both the carry-on and personal item dimensions for many airlines, and you can see that they are not all the same. A carry-on is generally considered to be the largest bag you can take on an airplane before you have to check it, and it usually needs to fit in the overhead. Dimensions vary across airlines, but a standard followed by many airlines is 22 long by 14 wide by 9 deep, or 56, 36, 23 centimeters. If your bag is good at maximizing volume, meaning it's rectangular like the Chrome Machete or Tortuga Outbreaker, and it minimizes inside pockets and compartments, then the max volume on these dimensions is about 45 liters. A personal item is usually a second smaller bag that many people take in addition to the larger carry-on. Airlines require that it usually fits under the seat in front of you on the airplane. Going back to the personal item dimension table, you can see that there is a huge variation in what size personal items airlines allow. Some airlines give a dimension or a weight limit, and some just say it needs to fit under the seat, but don't tell you how big that space is. This is why it's very important to check the baggage policy on the airline you're flying with, because a company like Frontier will allow a larger personal item than, for example, Ryanair. And while there's also no standard for personal items, a common size, especially if you fly in the US, is this box, which is 18 by 14 by 8 inches, or 45, 36, 20 centimeters. And depending on the airline you're flying and the bag you're using, the volume on these dimensions ranges from about 20 to 30 liters. Now I want to talk about the pricing structures airlines have and how you can get around them to avoid paying higher fees. Because the airline determines what size bag you're allowed to take on the plane, they can also charge you extra fees for a larger carry-on. Many budget airlines will charge a lower price for a base ticket, but they'll only allow you to take a small personal item, and they'll charge you extra if you want to bring a carry-on. Some examples are Spirit Airlines, Frontier, and Ryanair. They'll make you pay more when you buy your ticket if you want to bring a larger bag. They also often have other a la carte charges like seating selection or priority boarding. Other airlines like LATAM have packages with features bundled into different pricing tiers. Another thing to consider is that budget airlines often have a business model that's built around making money off of charging extra fees. So they're going to be much more aggressive in enforcing their baggage policies and charging you even more if you go over. An example of this is Spirit Airlines. They'll charge you between $60 and $70 for a carry-on if you buy it when you buy your ticket. However, if you show up to the gate with a bag that's too large or one that you didn't pay for, they'll charge you $99. Now I want to talk about the practicality of carrying a large, heavy 45-liter backpack on your trip. I've traveled with a variety of backpack sizes, and in my opinion, a 45-liter bag is large and heavy and can get uncomfortable if you're carrying it around all day. A 45-liter backpack tends to be more manageable because these bags tend to be tall and skinny and align the weight to sit closer on your back. This is my overnight Osprey hiking backpack, and you can see it also has a great shoulder and hip harness carry system. A 45-liter travel backpack, however, is restricted by the dimensions set by the airlines, so these bags tend to be more boxy, rectangular shaped, which isn't the best for weight distribution. With a few exceptions like packs from Osprey and Tortuga, travel backpacks also tend to have less comfortable carry systems than their backpacking counterparts. Also, if you're not a backpacker, you might not be used to carrying around a lot of weight on your back for a long period of time. If you're traveling slowly and mainly carrying your large bag from the airport to your hotel and then transferring into a smaller day pack for your day trips, then carrying a large 45-liter backpack is probably not a big deal. However, if your travel style has you carrying one or multiple packs for a long period of time, maybe you have a lot of connections, airports, buses, trains, then I would encourage you to try packing into a smaller bag. Another thing to consider is that there's no standard for measuring the capacity and dimensions on a carry-on bag, so the specifications listed on the website may not even be correct. This happens with the dimensions, but I find it to be more common with the capacity, and this goes both ways. For example, a bag listed at 40 liters can sometimes hold less than a bag listed at 35 liters, which is why I like to do packing comparisons and demos on my channel. It's also possible to change the dimensions on a travel backpack by either over or under packing it. For example, this bag here, when it's empty, it's only a couple inches wide. And this thing can basically fit in any size sizer because there's nothing in it. Another trick is to take bulky items or clothes out of your bag when you're going through the gate so your bag can fit in a smaller sizer. The inverse is also true. You can expand a bag out by overpacking it. For example, this one has a listed depth of about 5.5 inches, but you can see it's bulging out here. I overpacked this bag and now I have a depth of almost 10 inches. So soft-sided bags like this, they don't have a rigid frame sheet, are gonna have a wide variety of dimensions based almost entirely on what you pack inside the bag. So now let's jump into the packing comparisons on 2 different size bags so you can see how much gear you can fit in each of these sizes. For my comparison, I'll be using the max size WANDRD Acccess Hexad Duffel and then the personal item size Cabin Zero Military 28. Remember, the max carry-on capacity on a lot of airlines is 22 by 14 by 9. And this bag, when I measure it out, it actually comes in almost exactly at the listed specifications. Before I pack the bag up, I want to do a volume comparison. I'll fill this thing with packing peanuts and then transfer them into this tub here, which I have marked off in 10-liter increments that I made using this 5-liter scoop. All right, this is that bag fully packed up with those packing peanuts. I tried to be generous and squish them into all the cracks and crevices to make sure to fill the full capacity. So now I'll go ahead and dump all the peanuts from my bag into my marked cylinder and see what the capacity actually is. That's everything into my container. Here's the 40-liter mark. You can see it's above that, but it's not quite 45. When I measured this earlier, 45 was just mounting a little bit over the top, so we're probably at like 41 or 42 liters here. So I think sometimes bag companies will use the external dimensions to estimate what the volume is supposed to be, but they don't take into account all the pockets, internal dividers. This thing has a padded laptop sleeve in here that are gonna take up volume out of the main compartments. That being said, even though this is a few liters short of the max 45-liter capacity, this is, I think, the largest travel backpack in my collection, so I'm still gonna use it for the comparison. All right, I got this bag all packed up, so let me show you what I have in here. I have 2 medium Eagle Creek compression cubes. There's 3 pairs of pants, 2 button-up shirts, 2 shorts, and 6 t-shirts. These will go over on the large side of the bag, and then there's a gap in the middle where I will stuff my puffy jacket and a small travel towel. I have a ton of stuff on this other side. There's a shoe pocket, but just for sake of demonstration, pair of sandals not in the shoe pocket. I have a little pouch here with some miscellaneous electronics, travel games, a little Osprey, packable Daypack, toiletry kit, another small compression cube with 5 pairs of underwear and 4 pairs of socks. I have a water bottle and a travel umbrella. This little top pocket, I'll put my electronics, charger, battery pack, sunglasses, earbuds, and then there's a little tablet sleeve over here. I'll put my e-reader. This is that bag fully packed out with all that gear. It's very heavy. I have a decent amount of heavy stuff in here. However, I don't have a laptop, so I could probably actually make this heavier. It's about 9.4 kilograms or 20.7 pounds. This is just one example of a travel bag. These straps are a little bit thin compared to the normal straps, but I just don't think I'd want to carry around this very heavy backpack on my back all day. Now I'll transfer everything into the personal item, but before I do that, I want to do a quick volume and capacity comparison like I did with this bag. That's the Military 28 packed out with peanuts. It is bulging a tiny bit, but it's kind of hard not to do that with this bag because it's kind of just a big sack. So they list the dimensions at about 16 by 12 by 6. I think that's being extremely generous. The way I have it packed here, it's more like 17 by about 13. And then you can see, you can maybe get it 6 if you're not including this back padding here, but in reality it's more like 7.5. So now I will transfer all of the peanuts into the tub and we'll see what the actual capacity is. All right, you can see this is not quite the capacity that they said. Even though there's really not a whole lot going on in this bag, there's really just very little in here that's gonna take up the volume. I think they just were being very generous with the specs. So here's 20, here's 30, Should be about right here, 28. It's more like 22, 23. I think these two bags are good examples of how you can't really trust the online specifications. They tend to be at least close with the dimensions because they just measure them with a tape measure, but the capacities are kind of just all over the place. Just as a side note, I was kind of wondering, this ULA Dragonfly here lists the main compartment capacity at 20 liters, while this military 28 listed at 28. And you can see there is not an almost 30% difference in the capacity in these bags without even measuring them. And even though the capacities aren't quite what they're listed at, I still think these are two good examples of a carry-on and a personal item bag, because the airline, they really don't care about the capacity, they care about the outside dimensions and the weight. All right, so I just transferred everything over into the cabin 0 bag. I managed to get most of it in here, but I still have a large pile of stuff over here that I couldn't fit. In the main compartment is that packing cube. I have the toiletry kit, Daypack, travel towel, puffy jacket stuffed in here in the bottom. On the top, I have that second packing cube, pair of sandals, and the sunglasses. And then the electronics that I had in the top pocket on the WANDRD bag are in the front pocket on this bag. That's everything in this bag. It has compression straps. I didn't put them on because it's pretty full. And I weighed this thing, it's about 5.5 kilograms or 12.2 pounds. And just so you can see, this is what I had to take out of the larger bag to fit all my gear in here. Little pouch, umbrella, water bottle, and maybe 2 full changes of clothes. I hope this showed the difference between a larger 45-liter carry-on and a smaller 20-something liter personal item. A lot of people travel with 2 bags, larger bag, and then a smaller personal item. But I hope this shows you that if you just slim down your gear a little bit, you can travel with just a smaller personal item bag. That's all I have for this comparison video. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions. And again, thanks for watching.